If you go and buy a fruit tree, you know, you don't buy some mature fruit tree with delicious, ready-to-bake apples. No, you go get some seed, and then 30 years from now, somebody's gonna be able to have some really good pie. And that's how we think about our work. We're not gonna get to enjoy the full fruits of that. And the idea that we be able to seed new ideas, seed new ways of thinking, we're gonna have new thought leaders in that.
We fight this very narrow vision of what safety is. We've been told so long that the way to keep people safe is to punish people and to criminalize more things. If we had the courage and the vision to say, I don't actually know what could work, really, but I'm willing to explore. I'm willing to try some new things. I'm willing to look at this differently. I'm willing to ask some experts. I'm willing to ask people who are most impacted, what is it that they need? What visions do they have for their own communities?
Transformative justice would require us to do so much work on ourselves and so much work on our systems to be almost like unrecognizable from what we are right now. It requires forgiveness, it requires restoration, it requires grace.
A future former is someone who has a former life where they have endured a lot of pain, a lot of trauma, and they are taking that and reshaping it into changing the future for others that have to come behind them to not have to endure that.
Future former is someone who recognizes the weight of the past and how we need to continue to honor and shed light on it. But I think a future former is also someone who understands that the future requires a wild amount of imagination.
We've got to reimagine what it looks like to engage people who have been so traumatized over the history of this country. But we also have to figure out, like, way upstream, what's happening that even triggers the violence, what's happening that triggers the trauma, and we have to problem solve at that level.
I get to be a part of forming this future by being the architect of change, by saying that we need housing, here's housing solutions. We need jobs, let's create jobs for people who are formerly incarcerated.
There is a reflection of the past and the present, especially with not only how we perceive our young people and our families and our communities, but who's worthy of justice, what is justice, and who's deciding what that looks like. I think we can really find that through line, and it can be incredibly challenging to dismantle those ways of thinking and address the systemic needs that we need to make across not only the juvenile system, but also the adult system at large.
This work that we're doing is simply rooted in love. It is a love story, and I love my community. I love my people. I love being Black.
If we build a system from a place of love, from a place of caring, from a place of radical acceptance and forgiveness and grace, then we can have more radical acceptance, more grace, and more love.
That's what gives me hope. To see many more folks like myself building the power that's needed in the communities to bring about that change. Because I don't want to do it all by myself, and I can't.
When I leave this earth, I always ask people, what will your story read? I want my story to read that I never gave up and that I left something for future generations.
We're trying to create something beautiful. We're trying to form the future. And the future that we're forming is one that values love and compassion and mercy and humanity and dignity and all those things. And it's going to be so beautiful.
We have an elder here who always talks about, you know, you're trying to plant the seed for a tree whose shade you're never going to sit under. And that is a really exciting concept to me.
That's why it's so important for us to hold up these leaders, to acknowledge these leaders, because they remind us that it's like where somebody else was overwhelmed with hopelessness, these folks saw a gap and saw an opportunity for innovation. That makes me hopeful. That makes me think if they can innovate in a space, we all should have some hope left, and we need to get up and do our little piece.
My name is Terica Gansey.
I'm Jen Peacock.
Nicholas DeFell Buckingham.
Tiffany Crutcher.
Colleen McCarty.
Alea Harvey Quinn.
Coco Guthrie Pappy.
Robin Hassan Simpson.
DeMaria Monday.
And I am
A future former.
Future former.
Future former.
and I am a future former.
And I am a future former.
Future former.
A future former.
Future former.
And I am a future former.